Welcome everybody to another edition of TEW 2020 here on the channel, but of course it's not quite WCW 2005 this time around, as we're doing a little special here, as basically in-game what I did, because Hulk Hogan in-game has been basically out of wrestling since he left back in 2000 after the whole Bash of the Beach thing, because he never got signed by WWE because, they never bought WCW, so they never really needed him for the nostalgia pop, and of course we weren't going to re-sign him for obvious reasons. So he's been sort of just floating around on the independent scene, not doing much. So what I figured is he would do what he actually did in real life, which is create a new Fed with some backing, but, instead of doing the XWF or, whatever else he did, I figured why not start him early with Impact Wrestling. So what this is basically, again, I'm just going to do this for they're starting off, and then I'll DIY take care of them. Right now, I probably increase their popularity a little more than it should be, both with sort of the roster they have, which is basically the type of people Hulk Hogan would hire in 2002. So, there you go. Or 2005, rather. It is going to be a very interesting roster because, a lot of the people don't like that you would sign sort of as the base of TNA, or Impact back in the day are not around. Jeff Jarrett's obviously still with us. The NWA guys are either out in WWE still, or in New Japan, or with us. All the big indie guys, your AJ Styles is still with me. Punk's on WETV. A lot of the other X Division Mojo is still over in Japan. We have Daniels, etc. So that'll be it. So you'll see sort of the motley roster I figured out for them in a minute. But before we do that, of course, despite this not being a WCW show, we're still going to go over the Mayhem Pick'em. Remember how it goes is you go to the website here, challenge.com/2005 Mayhem. You sign up, and when you sign up, if you want to be contacted via email if you win the protection contest, that's fine. Just make your name. Otherwise, give me a Reddit name, a Discord name, a Twitter name, something that I can contact you at, or I'll just use the email address that you signed up with. But regardless, you just pick who you think is going to win the matches. First round, second round, you got Money Brown versus Kanan versus Jason Jett, Eddie versus Teddy Hart, Jeff Jarrett versus The Truth, etc. All these matches, will be happening after the Bash at the Beach pay-per-view, leading up to Mayhem in August. And then pick your winners up until the Four Corners Finals. And then it doesn't matter who you pick as the winner of the semifinals, because there is no actual semifinals. And then just pick the winner of the finals. And again, the winner of the first round, not the first round, but the first place winner gets a title match of their choice at the November pay-per-view. A dev signing of their choice, a dev release of their choice, and of course, back in the mid-year review, I went over the dev roster, a push and a de-push, but again, remember, it's not a case of where if you tell me to push, say Keith Walker, he'll be a world champion by the end of the year, or if you tell me to de-push, Bill Goldberg, he'll be dropping to Lash Through or anything, and then if you finish in second place for predictions, you get a title match of your choice on a Nitro or Revolution, a dev signing of your choice, and a push and a de-push. But of course, there's any basically overlap with the first place, I'll ask you to pick somebody else. If you say push Gigante, somebody else says de-push him. Obviously, de-push him gets the advantage because it's first place. Not that crazy. And then third place gets a match of their choice. That's not a title match on Nitro or Revolution. And then a dev signing of their choice. So again, you sign up, choose who you think is going to win. We don't have a ton of, you only have 3 predictions so far, so you have a pretty decent chance of getting a top 3 if you sign up now. But that's it for now, so let's get on to the actual first show of Impact Wrestling here in TW 2020, Genesis. So as you'd expect, who opens this show? It is, of course, the only Hulk Hogan shows up. He comes out doing the Hulk Hogan gimmick, getting you very good, as we're in front of which people in Daytona Beach, Florida. Let's say that's heavily papered, and I already said it was very cheap, so there we go. Regardless, it's Hulk Hogan. He comes out, welcomes everybody to the first show of Impact Wrestling, and it's a Genesis, brother. And what do you want to do as part of this Genesis is give everybody in the back who did have a match tonight a chance to get entered into the main event tonight against him, brother, Lex Luger, and Buff Bagwell, and the winner of the following match with a shot in that 4-way to become the first ever Impact World Champion. Brother, they got to run into Hulk Hogan, me, and his 24-inch pythons. Hulk Hogan is going to run all over you. So Hogan gets an 84 here. Gets a Hulk Hogan's gimmick gets a rating of very good. Our booking details is our announcers are Mario Herring, who's a regen, who's a decent regen, and Percy Pringle, who's Percy Pringle. You know, he sort of like was the available color commentator. We'll see how this goes. So this gets an 84 because it's Hulk Hogan doing a promo. And then we have some very quick promos here. The 4 of our competitors in the competitors in sort of our last chance match that's just been announced by Hulk. And those competitors are first Bam Bam Bigelow, basically saying, he's the beast from the East, and he's going to kick ass and show everybody that he should have been just placed in this main event. Christopher Nowinski, who does the whole Harvard Scholar gimmick, he's the smartest man in professional wrestling, and he's going to show all these plebeians why he should have been, why he's going to be the first Impact Wrestling and shock the world. And then Carlito says, he's the son of a legend, and now he's coming here to Impact to make a name for himself. And then, David Flair says he's a second generation star, and now he has a new woman on his side and introduces George, who's, of course, the former George, who was Randy Savage's girlfriend for a while, and in-game, because David Flair, I guess, can pick up hot women, his new girlfriend is her in-game, so hired her as her manager, so they basically, he's second generation star, and like his father, he's going to become the world champion. This gets a 38, because these guys aren't, great promos. Let's see here. Let's go over the gimmick. So Bam Bam's baddest gimmick gets a gimmick of great. Carlito's gimmick of Centuration Star gets a rating of adequate. Nowinski's Harvard Scholar gimmick gets a rating of very good. And David Flair's Second Generation Star gets a gimmick of adequate. And George's gimmick of David Ziva gets a rating of adequate. So this gets 38. And then we have the match. Which, yeah, okay, this is sort of what I figured. So, our other competitors in this match, along with the other guys, is Brutus Beefcake, because, this is a promotion led by Hulk Hogan, so of course Brutus gets a job. Roadkill, okay. And the final competitor, Shiver, also known as Glacier. Yes, I had to throw the Glacier name in cold, I had to do a quick search for cold names and Shiver, and that worked. And yeah, he's a babyface, but he's also sort of a comedy character, and there we go. So, this is a match, I'm sure this was kind of a mess. Eventually, Brutus does his Brutus stuff. I didn't realize I said this as an elimination match. It was supposed to be one fall match, but actually, elimination works fine. So the first elimination was Christopher Nowinski. I imagine just he gets, dropped by a big kick from Shiver just for the pop. Then Roadkill gets eliminated, probably by, let's say Kylie Colon. Then Shiver gets eliminated by, David Flair by roll-up. Then Bam Bam rolls him over, and then, Bruce K gets ran over by Bam Bam. And Bam Bam gets the win, advances to the 4-way and the main event for the Impact World Championship. And this gets a 43. Bam Bam gets a 48. Bruce gets a 44. Carly gets a 42. Nowinski gets a 22. David Flair gets a 46. Roadkill gets a 52. Shiver gets a 40. Bruce is a fun babyface gimmick, got a rating of awful. Roadkill's Roto gimmick got a rating of awful. Shiver's martial artist gimmick got a rating of poor. And yeah, let's see here. Yeah. Brutus, it was a 10-minute match. Jesus, man. But David Flair and George have excellent chemistry together, which is interesting. And Mario Herring and Percy Pringle have pretty good chemistry when calling matches, and also interesting. And post-match, Bam Bam, after the match, has a stare down with the Hulkster, who stayed at ringside, which gets a pop as this gets a 64. Then we have the first in our 2 matches, sort of qualifying matches for the tag team title match later tonight. So first out comes Alexander Atkinson, who's a regen, who I've regamed, and Marcus Militek, who's a regen, who you might remember for being in my div territory for a while. And they come out as basically as powerhouse baby faces, since they're both regens who are 270, 290. So of course they'll get signed by Hulk Hogan in this time frame. And their opponents are Giant Singh, yes, the future Great Khali, and Ron Reese, the former Yeti and Ron Reese and everything. And this is not a good match. It's 4 guys who can't really work yet. And, Militek's, decent, because we're setting in the Southeast, but he gets some power moves, but that's about it. And it goes about 6 minutes. It's not a great match, but Giant Singh eventually hits the brain chop and gets the win here. Reese gets a 23. Giant Singh gets a rating of 4. Yikes. Marcus Militek gets a 62, and Atkinson gets a 16. Giant Singh's, let's see, his Atkinson Raging Bull gimmick, so he sort of does his fire babyface stuff, but gets knocked around because, well, he's facing Giant Singh and Reese. That got a poor. Giant Singh's gimmick got a rating of great. Marcus Militek's powerhouse gimmick got a rating of very good. And Reese's gimmick of a giant got a rating of great. So there you go. 38 as well. And then they celebrate to a 41 because they're just big guys. And fans like to see big guys do big guy things, I guess. And then we have a quick promo with Maria, who makes her debut here. And like she's playing sort of the gimmick she did in real life in WWE. It's sort of like an airhead. So, she has something like, you say you're the stuff, but what stuff are you talking about? And the Buff Bagwell, cuts a typical heel promo saying he is buff, he's the stuff. And tonight he's going to finally rise to what he could have been in pro wrestling and become the first ever Impact World Champion. And nobody's going to get in his way. Actually, a decent promo. This gets a 61. Buff's Ego Maniac gimmick gets a rating of very good. Unfortunately, Maria's gimmick gets a poor, not in the end of the world. And then next up, we have the second half of our mini tag team tournament, as we have the team of Rick Steiner and Road Warrior Animal teaming up, sort of like, a meeting of two of the best teams in professional wrestling history, according to the announcers, taking on Heinrich and Ian Harrison. Heinrich, because he's Heinrich. Ian Harrison was I think, late era WCW guy on Saturday Night. Also was like got a push in Great Britain. I think he eventually came back to TNA as part of the whole Global Elite thing, but that it might be confusing him with somebody else. Regardless, he's a big muscly dude, so of course he gets hired here. And this is not what we call a good match. Also, Majija, Scott Steiner's former manager, came out as Rick Steiner's manager, and this got a 34 because, 4 not great wrestlers here. Well, Steiner and Animal were okay, like back in the day, but they're very old at this point. But they still get the win here. Animal eventually hits, Road Warrior Animal at like 45 in 2005 did not hit top rope power slam. He hit a normal power slam, But overall, Animal gets a 38 here. Rick Steiner is the worker of the group as he gets a 45. Yikes. Ian Harrison gets an 18. Heinrich gets a 7. Rick Steiner's gimmick gets a rating of very good. Road Warrior Animal's gimmick of a power and point gets a very good. Heinrich's gimmick of a psycho gets a great. Heinrich's gimmick of psycho got a great. Ian Harrison's badass gimmick got a rating of adequate. Majija's Steiner's lady gimmick got a rating of great. Rick Steiner's very good Steinerized gimmick. And Road Warrior Animal PowerPoint got a very good. So there we go. And ironically, Rick Steiner and Majija did not click at all, which is interesting. So there you go. Yep, I know. Steiner and Animal celebrate, and there you go. Let's get a 51, because of course it did. And then, next up, we have a promo where, of course, Maria's now with Lex Luger, and, Silver puts he's been out of the ring for a while, but he still has the body of a Greek god. He's still the total package. I don't know if you can say that legally, but we'll roll with it. Also, it's, it's Impact. We're not going to sue him. And, just Luger puts over, tonight, he's beaten Hulk Hogan before. He's beaten everybody that's going to be in that ring, and he's going to walk out as the first ever Impact World Champion as the genesis of a new era in professional wrestling. 60, decent heel promo, as, Maria gets to be Maria. And Luger's narcissist gimmick gets a rating of adequate. Not bad. And then we have a very interesting match, as it's the first match for the X title, I believe. Yeah, so, we announced put over, this is about, the future of professional wrestling. The hottest young stars in wrestling are here in Impact Wrestling, looking to be their first ever X-Champion in a ladder match. So we have the Amazing Red. We have Jay Lethal. We have Derek Sparrow, who's a regen with good stats. Frankie Kazarian, Brent Albright, and a Quiet Storm. And this is a high spot match. Like, Albright acts as the base, like throwing people around. Kazarian does some big moves. So does Derek Sparrow. Amazing Red flies around because he's Amazing Red. Him and Jay Lethal fight. Jay Lethal comes out with Miss Jones as his manager, now named Miss Jackson, because that's sort of the creative we got going on here. Quiet Storm gets to do Quiet Storm things, and they just fly around. Like, this is not like what you call a match with, what's that word I'm looking for here? Oh yeah, psychology. Everybody gets their spot on the ladder before they take a bump. Like, we're not going crazy here. This isn't quite like, Elevation XF or like high level stuff, but a very, let's be honest here, indie style ladder match. It goes back and forth, but eventually, Jay Lethal goes for a big move on top of the ladder, but Amazing Red gets out of the way. Kazarian goes for a big move on Lethal, but it's goes to go after Amazing Red. But actually, Derek Sparrow hits him with a drop kick, to the back before he can. Everybody else is out, and slowly but surely, Amazing Red gets to the top, takes off the belt, raises it, and he's the first ever Impact X champion. This gets a 31, because of course it did. Quiet Storm gets a 40. Jay Lethal gets a 41. Derek Sparrow gets a 23. Frankie Zern gets a 42. Brent Allward gets a 26. And Amazing Red gets a 43. So there we go. And then post-match, Amazing Red celebrates the title to a 23. And yeah, it'll be interesting what the AI does with this, because I did put this as a high-flying title. Because like the whole, like if I put it as a normal title, it would be put onto like random mid-card, or like, you know, Nowinski, or hell, maybe even Lex Luger, you know? So I just put it as a high-flying title to see what the AI would do with it, and this gets a 23. And then next up, we have our big tag title match set up with the earlier two matches. Oh, first though, we have a bikini contest, but first we have the, you know, debut of The Miz. So The Miz does, I mean, this is, you know, around when The Miz, like, debuted as sort of the host of SmackDown, and he does that shtick, you know, saying, you know, he was a star in reality TV, and now he's going to be a star in wrestling, because he's The Miz, and he's awesome, but the first thing he's going to do here at Impact Wrestling is a bikini contest. So out comes Terry Reynolds to a pop, out comes George, David Flair's manager, to a pop. Christy Hemme comes out, making her debut here at part of bikini contest. It's 2005, guys, come on. Trinity, and then finally, Sofia Velasquez, who's a regen with basically not terrible in-ring stats and very good, you know, basically star quality and sex appeal stats. So, you know, due to the bikini contest, the fans cheer who they cheer. But eventually, Sofia Velasquez and Trinity start pushing each other, and they get into a fight. And The Miz uses his, I guess, power to make a match, and there we go. As this gets a 22, like, it is what it is. I rate everybody on sex appeal, and I put this as 6 minutes, so that was probably too long. I looked at the dirt sheet, I had a guarantee. Okay, limited because sex appeal, and none of these girls are really over outside of, like, Terry, I think. And then we have a very quick 5-minute women's match. Yeah, I mean, there is no women's division. I wish, like, there was a spot for, like, we don't have a women's division, but we have occasional eye candy matches. Regardless, like, this goes 5 minutes. There's some spots. Eventually, Sofia Velasquez gets the win here over Trinity. With the slingshot double knee. Trinity got a 30. Sofia Velasquez got a 25. They had great chemistry. And yeah, this gets a 10 overall because they are not over. And it's a women's match on a show without a women's division. So there you go. And then we have a very bad match here. I mean, look at these four people. Do you imagine they would have a good match? And so, you know, it's a match between Rick Steiner, Road Warrior Randall, Ron Reese, and the Great Khali in 2005. You can imagine what it's going to be like. But near the end, it looks like Rick Steiner is going to get the big win, and actually, like, hits a huge suplex on Reese, and he's setting for the Steiner line, when, as the ref is distracted, Menage comes in and hits a low blow on Rick Steiner, which allows Reese to hit a quick choke slam and pick the pinfall victory. And Menage, you know, walks away, saying, you know, basically, you know, yelling at Steiner, "I was always on Scott's side, not yours." And Giant Singh and Reese pick up the huge victory here on Impact Wrestling Genesis to become the first Impact Wrestling Tag Team Champions. Overall, match gets a 33 because, well, look at these four people. Reese gets a 27. Giant Singh doubles his rating, gets an 8. And Owen gets a 36. Rick Steiner gets a 45. As you can imagine, Rick Steiner was happy about jobbing here, but, you know, don't care. Honestly. And then post-match, Giant Singh and Reese celebrate with the titles as the answers put over the difficulty of anybody taking these titles off of them. And that's, of course, the idea decides to take them off at the next show. So 44, then it's time for our main event. First comes out Bam Bam Bigelow, gets the 54. Out comes Buff Bagwell, this gets a 70. Out comes Lex Luger, it gets a 69. And then out comes Hulk Hogan, which gets an 83. And the match itself, like, it only goes like 10, 11 minutes, because look at these four people. Like, maybe Bam Bam can still work, but the other three are questionable 2005. So, like, it's a very safe match. But eventually what happens is, you know, it's a four-way, so it's no DQ. And eventually, Majaja, I should probably figure out how to say her name, but you know, Scott Steiner's former freak, comes out to the top of the ramp, and then out comes Ian Harrison and Heinrich following her, and they come down to the ring. As Hulk Hogan's on the outside, they pick him up and hit him with a huge double choke slam. The other 3 competitors are sort of like, shocked by, surprised by this, and they do the beatdown, but that allows Bam Bigelow to grab Buff Bagwell and drop him with the greens from Asbury Park and get the 1, 2, 3 and become the first ever Impact Wrestling World Champion. So yeah, this gets a 40 because, again, look at these 4 people. Oh my god. In his first match in like 4 years, Lex Luger got a bicep tear. That is fucking hilarious. Okay, so overall this gets a 40. Like I said, Bam wins the Impact World Championship. Bigelow gets a 49. Hogan gets a 45. Luger gets a 38. Bagwell gets a 62. Let me see here. Was there anything? Yeah, Luger was rusty. Declining physical ability. Hulk Hogan declining physical ability. Yeah, I mean, look at this show. Overall, yes, I see. The end is with the heel celebrating over the fallen Hulk Hogan. Because, of course, despite Bigelow being the first champion, this is going to be all about Hulk Hogan because this is Hulk Hogan's Impact Wrestling. And overall, this gets a 44. And the show itself, of course, gets a 49 because we actually gained our popularity in 2 regions. Everywhere else, we either lost or didn't gain. And this gets a 49 overall. So, again, I'm role-playing as Bam Bam. So, Bam Bam gets told they're awesome. Marcus, you did well. And, let's say, yeah. Lex Luger, sorry about that you got a bicep tear. There you go. And then we'll go a little bit of post-show stuff in a moment here. Okay, let's see here. Impact Genesis got a decent, look at that show. Okay, so, let's see here. Lex Luger got injured. Impact, we got 64,000 buys, which makes this the biggest TNA pay-per-view ever. Yeah. If we look at our size, so... Oh, right, we start... Right. Okay, so we didn't actually lose anything in the other companies. So... We look at our creative. Next big things is Carlito. A hot prospect is The Miz, Jay Lethal, Carly, Marcus, and Brent Albright. Talk the Talk is Hogan, Percy, Buff, Luger, Carly. Showstoppers is Carly, Bagwell, Frankie Kazarian, and The Miz. Ring Generals is Buff Bagwell, Frankie Kazarian, Brent Albright, Marcus Meltech. Who's hot? Manimal, Steiner, Bigelow, Hogan. Who's not? Bruce and Buff. All right. So our storylines. So first champion has a 36. First ex-champion has a 28. Hogan has some enemies, has a 39. Midcard Fun has a 43, and Tag Title Feud has a 30. So yeah, there you go. First champions, of course. First world champion is Bam Bam Bigelow. First ex-champion is Amazing Red, and first tag champions are Giant Singh and Reese. That's just hilarious. So I did set up a full event, so we got Genesis, Sacrifice, Unbreakable, Rebellion, Turning Point, Emerges, No Surrender, Amazing Against All Odds, Destination X, Lockdown, Mayday, and Victory Road. Backstage, actually not terrible, surprisingly. Then if we look at our roster, Perception, major star, none. Yes, we're at a point where even Hulk Hogan is not a major star. Hulk Hogan, though, popularity-wise, so... Okay, he didn't actually lose much, because he didn't job. Jason Vex, aka the former Jason Cross, is actually surprisingly over, mostly because of his Southeast stuff. Terry Reynolds is Terry Reynolds. She is what she is. Well-known is David Flair. So, he didn't really lose much, which I'm not surprised by. Marcus Meltech, let's see here. Yeah, he lost a bit by jobbing to those guys, which I'm, again, not surprised by. Reese, let's see, did Hugh gain a lot? Okay, so yeah, Reese actually gained a bunch of points by winning, which I'm not shocked by. About 10 points everywhere. Road Warrior Animal only dropped a point in some places. Shiver is about the same. We go on to... Right? Yeah. Then we look at all the important people, which is going to be very interesting. So, Alexander Atkinson actually gained a little bit of pop. Amazing Red, let's see here. How much pop did you get? Okay, so he actually gained a couple points everywhere by winning the X title. Carly Cologne, did you get over? Okay, not really, unfortunately. Let's see here. Giant Singh. Giant Singh would basically be an unknown to winning, so there you go. Like, yeah, this monster came in and won his tag titles in his first matches in professional wrestling. Heinrich gains not really a ton of points, but a couple points by winning. Let's see here. Jay Lethal. Oops, that's his skills. Yeah, nobody else won. Sophia Miliquez at least got some popularity by showing up on TV. And The Miz is The Miz. Did he gain any points by, like, okay, not really. So there. That what Impact Wrestling has working for them for the future. Again, it'll be interesting to see what the game does. Like, Bigelow's a babyface, so I think there's a decent chance that what's we're looking for that like he actually keeps the title for a couple months until Hogan takes the title off of him, because I assume the AI will do. I have Hogan here as the booker because he's Hulk Hogan, but we'll see what, like, if they get a TV deal, because I did also set up Impact Wrestling. Oh, I did not actually. So I'll have to do that in a moment here, but I'll do that. Like, I'll set up Impact Wrestling as a TV show for them to, like, actually have. We'll see if it gets signed up, and we'll see, like, if they survive. Like, yeah, money wise, they actually got quite a bit. I'm assuming, yeah, ticket sales and pay-per-view revenue. But yeah, I mean, again, it'll be sort of interesting to see if, like, they actually do anything, if they sign some interesting people, or they sort of stay with this, like, wacky roster that I started them with. But yeah, I mean, that's basically it. This was a fun, this was about what I expected them to do. Like, the main event was, like, a lot worse. Like, I didn't really like Hogan. I guess Hogan and Luger both have ring rust. And more importantly, Hogan is on more of a time decline than I thought. So, like, he's just totally out of it as far as, like, do anything in the ring. But yeah, like, it'll see how the AI deals with a just terrible roster, but with some popularity. If they actually push some people, if they don't, or not. But, again, I'll do updates on these guys just like I do updates with WWE and the other big companies. They're the fifth in the world automatically. I had to boost their size up, like, from they probably would have been realistically, just so they would get a pay-per-view deal. Just because, like, Hulk Hogan could probably pull off getting a pay-per-view deal at this point. Like, I would lower their popularity after this, but I also think they would lose their pay-per-view deal immediately. So I'll just see if they lose their pay-per-view deal by putting on bad shows. But, outside of that, that's it. So if you enjoyed this, go ahead and give it a like. Comment below on your thoughts, positive, negative, like, what the hell is this roster? This would be wrestle crap, or, if you think it would be entertaining in a very, weird way. Of course, like it, if you enjoyed this. And, of course, subscribe to this channel for plenty of TEW 2020 content. We'll be back on the WCW 2005. Of course, after this, we still have this show. And then also, basically, we have this show, we have the Bash of the Week pay-per-view, and then that whole week, leading up next week to the first show afterwards, for you to sign up for the Mayhem Tournament Pick'ems, and I'll remind people of that. And also, when this gets posted, there'll of course be another, there'll be another part of the mid-year awards. It'll be the tag team match of the year, and you'll see that rated. I was showing at the beginning of the show, but I forgot to write it up, so I can't show you guys. And obviously I can go into WCW to show you guys as I'm on a show. But that's it for now. So talk to you later, and adios. Have a good one. Oops, forgot I didn't hit stop. Whoop, damn it. Okay, if you listen this far, I don't know why. Anyway, have a good one. Bye.